It's Friday night. You're probably out clubbing and booty shaking and all those fun things. Me, wholesome guy over here, chill guy over here. I was with the parents at the movies watching this film called Dead Man's Wire. Gotta say, it's a good time at the movies. I'm happy I saw it. They're happy they saw it. It was a grand time after the whole event. We went and got some Jamaican food. Everything Irie, okay? I'm sorry, Jamaicans. The one Jamaican in the world that might see this that knows me. I'm sorry, sir. Okay. This film, pretty good, like I said. It's based on a true story. Bill Skarsgård stars as Tony Kirstis. It's like Kirstis or Kirstis. I don't remember. A disgruntled client of a mortgage company who captured the attention of working class America after holding the company's president hostage for several days. A couple years ago, or whenever it happened, Luigi allegedly killed a CEO. Back in the 70s, you don't kill him. You hold him hostage. Then maybe you kill him. Maybe you don't. I don't know. You got to go see the movie to find out or Google the whole story because it's based on a true story. Proceeding. Dead Man's Wire is set in the 70s, but its critique of capitalism and news media remain eerily relevant. This film captures the mood of the 70s by masterfully blending the era's music, aesthetic, and cultural artifacts in a way that serve the story. Skarsgård is dynamic, and appearances from Coleman Domingo, always great, and Al Pacino, absolute legend, add some extra flair. But the entire cast is perfect. I mean, there's some like bureaucratic scenes where you're trying to figure out the logistics of the hostage situation, and every cop that makes an appearance and has a line or two on camera is perfect. Every news anchor or reporter that makes an appearance is perfect. It's just like the cast fits seamlessly with the era, but also the tone and mood of the film. It's great. The cinematography is wildly creative, keeping what is ultimately a bit of a slow burn feeling fresh and engaging. Lastly, there is a healthy heaping of humor in our main character's erratic behavior, which balances well with the building tension as the plot advances. This is a really good time at the movies. It's a tense movie for much of it. It's comedic at times. It's an exploration of American culture, not only in that point in time, but also like now, like with the news media's thirst for violence, with the working class disgruntledness ultimately being aimed at the people who are causing the harm, and how Americans tend to rally around people who do extreme actions to get back at our overlords, whether that be like a corporate overlord or your regular working job boss. Like you notice in history, when Americans take an action against the head of the snake, Americans do tend to rally in support of that. And this movie kind of emphasizes that feeling. And once again, based on a true story, so this probably was how things played out in the media and in the zeitgeist as the world, or the country at least, learned about Tony's behavior and his erratic actions. But that point aside, you're wondering, well, why is Tony even upset to begin with? The movie does, pretty good job of explaining it, but my mind is not business centered, so my mom had to help me understand a little bit. But basically, Tony owned a lot and had an inquiry from a grocery store. So they want to put their grocery store on this lot that Tony is financing, that he's leasing, not leasing, that he's trying to own. So I guess he has a mortgage for the lot, but he's about to get a vendor for the lot. The mortgage company swoops in, lures away the vendor, and then Tony ultimately fails to get any business at his lot, and ultimately is, no more saying ultimately for the rest of the video, I'm so sorry, but he is essentially finding himself in a position where he can't pay the loan, and he felt like he was robbed, not even felt like, he was genuinely robbed of a business opportunity that would have changed his life. And he even mentions in the movie, he's content being poor. He was content being the working dog his entire life. But to see the American dream snatched away from him in such a vulgar and obvious, extreme way, it angered him to the point that he wants to attack the powers that be. And in his situation, that materializes at the doorstep of the mortgage company. And the mortgage company is led by Al Pacino's character, but his son, who's really the victim here. The son ends up getting kidnapped. That's all I'll say as far as the story goes. But like Al Pacino's a bit of a side character here. You get to quickly see how much of a shark he is. The son less so, but you still see how like Tony is rightfully upset at these people, and he can see through their charade of pleasantry and their fake kind words to try to like ease the situation. He knows that all this is BS, and he just really wants a few things, but included in that list is an apology. That's how like sentimental this is for him. He feels like he's just owed respect as a human, and he wants that through an apology, albeit forced. And you get to kind of see how Tony himself is handling the fact that he's in over his head, but not in a way that he really registers for much of the movie. Like, he is a bit, he's odd enough to believe that what he's doing is going to end well for him. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You have to see. And his stubbornness is definitely a guiding force in his actions, but he's also righteous enough, I guess, in his cause for it to make an interesting character to root for. So yeah, Tony's here. The hostage Richard is here, and you get to see Richard's face and emotion and his physical state change throughout the hostage situation, and it's cool. It's very well acted. Like, you kind of see the hope on his face kind of wax and wane whenever appropriate. Colman Domingo is great. He plays a radio host, and they do a bunch of 70s needle drops. I mean, Gil Scott-Heron has a moment in this. To conclude the film, you can assume what song that might be if you know Gil Scott-Heron. But, like, that's great. Fantastic 70s reference. Other people here, I think Roberta Flack was mentioned. Like, a lot of, like, soul music. So Colman Domingo's character is the voice of the radio for this Indiana station. And it's just like a seamless transition to bring the radio host into this story, because obviously, again, based on a true story, so I assume in real life that radio host was involved in some way or another in kind of trying to rectify the situation. But also, Colman Domingo brings a certain flair as an actor, so he's cool to bring in. Again, Pacino is great, but all the side characters, which features some cops and some journalists and a family member of our protagonist, Tony, they all do well here. Everything it's just great, and the visuals, I can't praise them enough. I don't know how to, like, say this, so I'll say it in the only way I really think I can. The visuals look like vinyl records sound. They have that, like, warm and fuzzy feeling visually, and I really like that. It seems to fit the mood and the tone of the era, but it also, like, it just creates this like entrancing environment for the movie. You do feel like you are in a 70s movie watching it in 2026. Like, it feels like it was shot and created and structured like a 70s movie. It's like 70s lingo, as far, like, not necessarily like lingo, but like the cops, like, just the, hey, Tony, like, just the way they're talking, very 70s. It's great, and there's just so much detail. There's shots of, like, the front end of a cigarette being lit. You get to really see how the radio station looks at times. You get moments where we're referencing Tony's childhood and a picture of his childhood comes up, or somebody's talking about his character and his temperament, and then a flashback of his angry sequences pop up. It's just incredibly well done. So much so, there's even a scene where we're kind of seeing different moments throughout the situation where Americans from all over are tuning in to what's happening, because this is being broadcasted because the news stations are there. I'm not saying what's being broadcasted. It could be the court, it could be the event. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you, but, like, things are being broadcasted basically. And there's one moment where you see the staff in the kitchen of a restaurant. Who knows where the restaurant is? But, like, on the fridge, there is a note that said no pots, pointing up at the top of the fridge. Like, don't put pots on the top of the fridge. That's such a cool detail to put in a movie like this. Like, everything seems so thought out and methodical and meticulous. I love it. Minor issue with pacing. Like, it's not slow for a person that, like, likes movies like me, but I can see the average person that, like, goes to the movies once or twice a year being like, this is kind of boring. But I think everything in it matters, so I'm not mad at that. Overall, 8.5 out of 10. Exceptional start to the year for movies. Once again, I really enjoyed the movie, and I just loving movies. So great time. You're probably not going to see it in theaters, to be honest. I don't know if it has the marketing for that. Like, I know movies come out because I, like, look on AMC all the time, but, like, I had not seen marketing for this movie, but it deserves to be marketed because it's very good. And people always talk about not having those mid-budget movies. I am people that talk about that. Mid-budget movie, I assume, original idea based on a true story, but, like, original idea, and it's great. It's fantastic. 8.5.